This is an emergency transmission. We have confirmed signs of renewed Dark Falls activity. We are preparing an interception operation. Please prepare to deploy.
何か手伝ってほしいこととかってある？
Here, have this. I think you'll need it.
This is an emergency transmission. We have confirmed signs of renewed Dark Falls activity. We are preparing an interception operation. Please prepare to deploy.
for stopping by.
So, you want to learn Bouncer, huh? Well, strap on those roller skates and whip out your keyblades, because today I'm going to explain Bouncer simple and clean for you. But first, let's talk about what Bouncer does. Bouncer is a king of down damage, a special type of support class that has the ability to use both melee and tech-based skills. The main specialty of this class is to stare directly in the soul of any mob and instantly cause a down state. So now that you know what Bouncer is all about, let's go and break down the weapons. Bouncer has access to two weapons which feature unique mechanics and NGS. The first is Soaring Blades. Soaring Blades feature 3 photon arts along with a unique weapon action. The weapon action for Soaring Blade allows you to throw photon blades at your target. This also embeds the photon blade into your target as well, increasing PP recovery on normal attack. Activating Fanatic Blade enhances these photon blades to be virtually a machine gun for 15 seconds. The 3 photon arts for Soaring Blade are as follows. Destructive Stork is an AoE move that moves you slightly forward while twirling blades around you. If you tap the PA again before the second half, you'll cancel into a vertical /spin. Next, we have Rampaging Harrier. This is a combo / move that ends with a rain of photon blades. Pressing the PA button again before the rain causes you to shoot a flurry of photon blades in front of you. And finally, we have Roaring Pheasant. This is a Beyblade move that causes you to travel a far distance before unleashing a slash. If you press the PA button again at any point before the final slash, it will cancel into a stationary Beyblade to really let it rip. Also, it should be noted when you press the PA button a second time, there is a small iframe window. Now, let's move on to the Jet Boots. Jet Boots are Bouncer's second weapon, which features an extremely mobile tech-based weapon. There's a lot of unique things going on with this, so let's break it down slowly. Holding down your normal attack on Jet Boots causes you to perform a flurry of kicks which ends with a high damaging attack. Your weapon action on Jet Boots is a very generous counter that you can use at basically any point during a PA. Your active skills gauge, Jet Sweep Jolt, is increased by any attack and dodge. On top of these, you're also able to cast every single technique in the game and trigger blots and clads through the usage of your PAs. Casting any technique, whether it's charged or uncharged, will change the element of your attacks indicated by an elemental swirl around your feet. And to finish it off, anytime you cast a technique, you do get a quick cut style gap closer by inputting a normal attack when you see a horizontal flash. So, that's a lot to take in. But we also have 3 photon arts. Spinning Gust is a gap closer PA that deals a flurry of vertical strikes. If you hold down the PA, the final hit is changed into a slow kick that increases your Jet Sweep Jolt gauge by a lot. On top of this, that final kick is also a guard point. Fierce Wave is a stationary PA that shoots crescent slashes that lingers. Holding down the PA increases the quantity and the size of the slashes. And finally, we have Violent Gale. Violent Gale is an AoE PA that features a volley of horizontal kicks. If you hold down the PA, the final sequence of kicks is turned into a singular hit that pushes you backwards and increases Jet Sweep Jolt's gauge by a lot as well. It should be noted the singular hit at the end of the held PA is also a guard point. So now that you know what the photon arts are and the general gist of how the weapons work, let's talk about the skill tree, which I'll put up on the screen. Now, this is all subject to change based on how you're playing the class itself. The following skill tree is something I use primarily because I am testing both of the weapons and I do use Bouncer Force. This means Clad and Blot are not taken on the Bouncer tree, leaving 2 additional points to be allocated anywhere you want. I highly recommend not to skip any of the Bouncer skills and to split the final 4 points between Defeat Amplifier and Partial Destroy Advantage. Make sure you have at least 1 point in each to gain the benefits. Now, in terms of maining one weapon, if you're dead set on never using one of the weapons, So you want to play Ranger, huh? Well, come along and I'll take you on a trip to the rifle-shooting, launcher-holding, laser-blasting world of Ranger. But first, let me give you a quick overview of this class. Ranger is a class that specializes in opening weak points and completely decimating the enemy from a distance. Nothing is safe once it's in your crosshairs. As Rangers, once that blight round goes off and you're in position, all that's left is a deadly proposition. So now that you have a general idea of Ranger, let's go and break it down. Ranger has access to two distinct powerful weapons, Rifle and Launcher. Rifle allows Ranger to decimate their targets from the mid-range with increased mobility, good damage, and the ability to create weak points with blight rounds. Launcher allows the Ranger to eradicate all life from a distance with high damage and strong attacks. Rifle features 3 photon arts. First, we have Homing Darts, a lock-on system that targets every targetable point in range. This move allows you to easily deal with multiple enemies at once, along with attacking multiple points of bosses. Next, we have Blaze Shot, an extremely mobile stream of bullets that slowly drains your PP over time. Blaze Shot allows you to stay at mid-range as the enemies move around in order to upkeep Ranger's maximum damage range. And finally, we have Raising Shot. Raising Shot is a chargeable shot that, when released, pierces enemies but also deals a hefty amount of damage. When Raising Shot is used uncharged, it shoots 2 shots which have a minor explosion on the target. We also have Rifle's weapon action. The weapon action on Rifle allows you to perform a slide shot, evading damage for the duration of the animation, along with regenerating PP from the attacks. On top of this, Rifle's skill, Grenadier, allows you to get access to a strong attack with a 30-second cooldown. When you hold the weapon action with a movement input, you will shoot a grenade shot that deals 400% damage. When holding the weapon action with no movement input, you will deploy a mine, which when triggered, explodes for 500% damage. Rifle also has Spread Shot. Spread Shot is an active skill which requires you to build up the meter by dealing damage with the rifle. Once the bar is full, Spread Shot becomes available, giving you access to a strong burst of damage that also has invuln for the duration of its animation. Now, let's talk about Launcher. Where Rifle is a mobile beast, Launcher is an immovable force. Launcher has access to 3 destructive photon arts. Fallen Impact has you shoot into the air with your launcher, causing multiple hits on the targeted area. Multi-Hit allows you to send a volley of high damaging rockets onto a targeted point, ending with a high damage finisher. And finally, my favorite of all the launcher photon arts, Fear Eraser. Fear Eraser is a giant laser beam that you can hold down and it will keep firing until your PP is 0. After a certain point, Fear Eraser ends up dealing even more damage than normal, and when it ends, unleashes an extremely high damage hit. On top of this, Fear Eraser also has Hyper Armor, allowing you to hold it down without being interrupted. Now, Launcher's weapon action is called Sticky Bomb, which has a 30-second cooldown. This deploys a bomb onto your target which explodes, regenerating your PP. On top of the weapon action, Launcher has the ability to condense the size of their normal attack by holding forward and normal attacking. This allows you to deal slightly more damage on a singular point without it being spread. So now that's over, let's talk about the skill point distribution. You have 20 total skill points in New Genesis currently, so this is how I would distribute them for Ranger. First, put 1 point into everything except the bad condition skills. Afterwards, max out Blight rounds, then distribute the remainder of your points into both bad condition skills. Personally, I went with 1 out of 10 Ward and 5 out of 10 Reduction to get a reduced time the status ailments last. Now, let me tell you about my thoughts and theory crafting on Ranger. Ranger is a ridiculously strong class that has some of the most consistently high damage in the game due to its range. Rifle's homing darts provide Ranger with a pretty decent AoE, and proper positioning with Launcher allows Sphere Racer to be used for AoE as well. For single target damage, Rifle has loads of active skills which supplement its deceptively lower DPS. The speed Spread Shot builds, along with the power Grenadier and the mobility plus safety the weapon action gives, makes Rifle a very good pick for those who are seeking a more mobile option for Ranger. Launcher, however, is definitely the polar opposite. Launcher has extremely low mobility but extremely high damage. On top of this, the weapon action Sticky Bomb is actually one of the most ridiculous parts of Launcher. If timed correctly, Sticky Bomb can explode, giving you an extremely long and extended Fear Eraser. Coupled with the fact that Fear Eraser has Hyper Armor, the only resource you need to worry about when doing this large amount of DPS is your HP bar itself. So let's talk about the gameplay loop and rotation for Ranger. In general, I would recommend to have both Rifle and a Launcher on you at all times. Rifle gives you access to Blight Rounds, which is a core part of Ranger's kit. Blight Round allows you to pretty much speed up any encounter in the game by boosting the damage. Now, if you hit it 100 times, it turns purple, and this is called Blight Rounds Reinforce. This increases the damage by 5% and also extends the timer by 15 seconds. Your job when you have a rifle equipped is to properly apply Blight Rounds to the spot everyone should focus on. Now, as a disclaimer, Blight Rounds does have hit collision, so it will collide sometimes and apply to the wrong area. On top of this, you can overwrite the Blight Round positions of other Rangers on the same target, which can lead to some Blight Round dancing. Now, in the event multiple Rangers keep blighting the boss, personally, I would just stick to dealing as much damage as possible rather than trying to get your Blight Rounds in. On the Launcher end, Launcher gives you Sticky Bomb, but more importantly, a long-ranged option. The damage Rifle deals is limited to a specific mid-range. Your damage decreases when you're either too far or too close. Dancing around in this optimal range is pretty much necessary to output the most amount of DPS for Rifle. But if the boss is too far away, comments and questions about Gunner on the Gunner Guide. And I've actually answered every single one of them. So today I'm going to answer the most frequently asked questions that you might be wondering about Gunner, so let's begin. First, let's begin with the SP distribution. If you did not know this, there's 20 total SP in New Genesis currently on release. So Gunner's skill point distribution would be basically like this. Grab everything in the tree, and with the last 10 points, put 9 into PP Recovery and 1 into Overwhelm. The reason we do this is because PP Recovery and Overwhelm are actually the same skill, but they have different criteria. PP Recovery works on everything, giving you enhanced PP Recovery, but Overwhelm does not work on bosses. That brings us to the next big question, Gunner as a subclass. Now, if you watch my guide, I said I can't recommend it. However, times have changed. Slightly. If you're playing a class which struggles with PP Recovery, or you want some more comfortable PP Recovery, Gunner is a good choice for your subclass. Combos such as Force Gunner or Ranger Gunner can benefit heavily from Gunner's PP Recovery. Now, if you want to use Gunner as a subclass in order to use twin machine guns, I do not recommend that at all, which brings us to the next question. How does Chain Trigger even work? Chain Trigger is activated by holding a charged photon art and hitting a target. This starts a counter which builds up by attacking more. You end Chain Trigger by holding a charged photon art, which also gives you some nice juicy damage. Now for clarification, Chain Trigger is main class only, but it So you want to play Hunter, huh? Well, let me tell you about Hunter. Hunter is a triple-wielding absolute monster of a class that does not understand the concept of death. Every damage source in this game is just something for hunters to laugh about and other classes to cry about. Everything we do as hunters is for one purpose: look directly at the monster and smash it with big numbers. Now that pretty much summarizes the class, so let's go and break it down. Hunter has access to 3 distinctively different weapons, and each of them have 3 photon arts. First, we have Sword. If you enjoy swinging giant weapons, then this is the weapon for you. Sword comes with Spiral Edge, a chargeable vertical slash, Twisting Zapper, a chargeable photon art where you let it rip, and Caliber Street, a 3-stage chargeable photon art with extremely high damage, but no mobility. On top of this, you have your weapon art, which allows you to block attacks. Next, we have Wired Lance. This is a crazy weapon with insane AoE damage, but also allows it to fly around like a deadly missile. Wired Lance contains Cutting Layer, a multi-hit slash in front of you, Vein Mixture, multiple spins that let you roleplay as a Beyblade, and Turbulent Train, a vertical slash that helps you hit targets above and below you on Wired Lance. Holding forward while doing Turbulent Train will move you more vertical, while having no movement input will make you stay still in place. And finally, we have Partisan. If you are a fan of decimating your foes with rapid strikes and long reach, then this is the weapon for you. Partisan features Cleaving Sight, a strong single target slash that explodes if you finish the animation. Fatal Tornado, a multi-hit attack which when charged changes the ender from a second spinning slash into a cleave. And finally, Thrusting Javelin, a holdable thrust where you repeatedly thrust, ending in a spear throw. You can also tap Thrusting Javelin to do a singular thrust, which allows you to instantly throw the Partisan as well. So that was a lot of information, so let me break down which weapon might be the fit for you. If you enjoy counters, methodical gameplay, and a jack of all trades, then you may prefer Sword. If you enjoy dealing high amounts of AoE damage, flying through the skies, and in general, whipped blades, then Wired Lance may fit your playstyle. And finally, if you enjoy high burst phases, fast aggressive gameplay that allows you to stick to your enemy and stabbing random enemies, you may enjoy Partisan. So now that we have that out of the way, let's talk about the skill point. So you want to play Braver, huh? Well, let me tell you about this class. Braver is a katana-wielding, bow-shooting hybrid master who harnesses the power of anime and an insane amount of motivation. Your goal on Braver is to brave through all the challenges of the game effortlessly as you unleash your destructive force with the mastery of your blade. Now that you have a general idea of Braver, let's go and break it down. Braver has access to two main weapons, katana and bow. Katana is a short-range weapon with incredible burst and has access to 3 photon arts. Also, all katana photon arts have 3 stages of them, which are accessed through multiple inputs of the photon art. First, we have Silver Leaf Storm. Silver Leaf Storm moves the user slightly while also performing a series of quick slashes ending in a large damaging single hit. Next, we have Lotus Lightning. Lotus Lightning keeps the user stationary as you unleash a multiple hit ranged attack. Each stage of Lotus increases its damage. And finally, we have Iris Gale. Iris Gale is Katana's main AoE. The first stage of Iris Gale is a large double slash. The second and third stages are 360 AoE explosions centered on the user. Now, let's move on to Bow. Bow has access to 3 photon arts as well. Bow's special mechanic is that all 3 photon arts are also chargeable, changing their properties. On top of this, inputting the weapon action plus a direction key after any photon art will allow you to slide and shoot an extra attack. Now, let's move on to the photon arts themselves. First, we have Flex Arrow. Flex Arrow is a single target move that has 2 charge states. Uncharged fires a quick flex arrow. Charging for 1 state now gives the arrow slightly more damage and penetration. And fully charging to the final state removes all mobility from the user, unleashing a devastating single shot. Next, we have Frenzied Firework. Frenzied Firework is an AoE move that scatters arrows when it connects with the enemy. If you choose to fully charge this move, the properties change to a close-range shotgun-like move. And finally, we have Dimensional Ray. Dimensional Ray, when uncharged, deploys a field of arrows at your targeted location which will hit anything within the circle. When you fully charge Dimensional Ray, you gain 5 stocks of homing attacks which are used with any photon art. These homing attacks are only consumed when your photon art connects with the target. So, now that we've gone over the photon arts for both weapons, let's go talk about the skill tree and the skill point distribution. There are currently 20 total SP in NGS. For me, I put 1 point into everything, 2 out of 5 Brave Combat Final bonus, and 5 out of 5 Brave Combat. So you want to play Force, huh? Well, come along and let's go on an adventure with the elemental dancing inferno known as the World of Force. But first, let me give you an overview of this class. Force is a long-range specialist who uses techniques that cause various elemental effects. When a force has an enemy in sight, Elemental Blight has already decided the fight. Now that you have a general idea of Force, let's go and break it down. Force's arsenal contains two amazing weapons. Force's primary weapon is called Rod. Rod allows you to unleash a flurry of technique attacks from a distance, along with a very nice weapon action counter that allows you to shoot elemental bullets on a successful counter. The techniques at your disposal for Force are as follows. First, we have the fire techniques. Flaw releases a fireball at your foes, and when fully charged, it changes to an explosion at your targeted location. Giflaw causes flames to circle you, attacking nearby enemies. When you fully charge Giflaw, however, it becomes a high damaging pillar of fire at your targeted location. Next, we have Ice Elemental techniques. These are accompanied by a class skill called Bardablot. When you repeatedly attack an enemy with uncharged ice attacks, petals will appear on your target. At 5. So you want to play fighter, huh? Well, come along and let's go on an adventure with a fearless flying flurry of mass destruction known as the World of Fighter. But first, let me give you a quick overview of this class. Fighter is a single target specialist who can dish out insane levels of damage that even the biggest bosses cower in fear. All that goes on in the head of a fighter is to attack fast. Tekker is a wonderful world of wand-wielding destruction where you stare down your foes before unleashing your photonic fury. Tekkers give us the ability to band together with the power of friendship and disgustingly good buffs. So now that you have a general idea of this class, let's go and break it down. Tekker has access to a unique weapon called Wand. Wand allows you to use all techniques, but more importantly has some unique mechanics as well. By charging any elemental tech, you will imbue your wand with the element, allowing you to score elemental downs and weakness multipliers. The weapon action on Wand is a very lenient parry that causes photonic fury on a successful parry. Wand features two very interesting photon arts. First, we have Swift Smash. This is a chargeable gap closer which deals a surprisingly decent chunk of damage when fully charged. Again. First, what are the best twin machine guns? TMG choices at the moment are severely limited, so here's a basic rundown. Straga, Catalea, Resurger. Now for the explanation. Resurger's potential is a pain to trigger on Gunner, and I would only use the series for multi-weapon purposes. Catalea is only 1% behind Straga if you maintain max HP. Straga will give you more damage than Catalea, but you might also get one shot. So, overall the best TMG for you depends on how much Meseta you're willing to invest along with multi-weapon considerations. Now onto the next big question, what is the point of Point Blank? This one has been asked a lot, and I'm going to clear up a lot of misunderstandings about Gunner here. So Gunner is actually a close-range DPS class. Gunner's most effective damage is when you're riding up against the boss. The critical range on Gunner has two stages, medium and short distance. This is confirmed on the frame data spreadsheet linked in the description below. So basically, what this means is that Point Blank out DPS's Bullet Rave assuming you're playing Gunner properly. Staying within the critical range, especially when up close. So you want to play fighter, huh? Well, come along and let's go on an adventure with a fearless flying flurry of mass destruction known as the World of Fighter. But first, let me give you a quick overview of
Come
this
by
class.
anytime, okay?
Fighter is a single target specialist who can dish out insane levels of damage that even the biggest bosses cower in fear. All that goes on in the head of a fighter is to attack fast, attack hard, and attack all the time. Now that you have a general idea of fighter, let's go and break it down. First, we have Knuckles. Knuckles gives you the ability to dodge and weave with its weapon action, allowing you to perform extremely powerful counters and upkeep your momentum. Swift Rush performs two powerful
隠れたつもり。逃がすか。
I'm nearing the end of my 4th year. I feel like I've been lacking, crying too many tears. Everyone seemed to say it was so great, but did I miss out? Was it a huge mistake? I can't help the fact I like to be alone. It might sound kinda sad, but that's just what I seem to know. I tend to handle things usually by myself, and I can't ever seem to try and ask for help. I'm sitting here.
Walks across the pavement, hoping it will cave and swallow me whole. Wonder why my mind keeps on spinning. This isn't how living to me was sold. Why am I like this? Something's always amiss. Can't put my finger on it, but it's there. I want this upside, but my mind won't upside. Waiting for the clear. Is it bedtime?
You're pulling all my walls down. I've never been exposed like this before. I'm good at shutting you out. I've always had a way of keeping closed. Beating hiding, I can fight, thinking it's too late. If you're finding, I've been calling out. Calling out your friends. And screw your ex, is such a flake. Forget your grades, you need a break. The others say